It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today we're at the fabulous Wayfair on Ferret Street that has a, check it out, 4-hour happy hour here every day from 3 to 7 with half-price drinks and half-price bar food. Wayfair is on Ferret Street, just a couple of blocks down from Napoleon. And Happy Hour is brought to us today by Door Furniture for the last 80 years. Door Furniture has been serving retail customers throughout the greater New Orleans area from its home base on Elysian Fields in the Marigny, as well as the finest quality furniture from brands like Stickley, Century, and Flex Steel. Doors designers can come to your house. That's what I like about it. They can actually come to your home and customize stuff from slip covers to dining room tables. If you're on the North Shore, Door recently opened a second location in Covington. Door Furniture is about as New Orleans as it gets. Andrew Duhon is back in New Orleans. How are you?
How have you guys been?
We've been good. Very good. I have to say also thank you to Strategic Resumes. If you want to sharpen up your resume, your LinkedIn profile or other job search skills, get in touch with Strategic Resumes. And if you're going on vacation, you lucky devil, you can start going on vacation by checking in with Travel Central in Metairie.
Oh.
Do you know about Travel Central in Metairie?
I don't.
It's a travel agency. Have you ever heard of Lee Isaacson is here too. Hi, Lee.
Hi.
Do you know about travel agents?
You would not believe that I just hooked up with a travel agent today.
Come on, isn't it great? It's
Yeah.
the greatest thing ever because you don't have to actually sit on the computer and waste your fucking time doing that whole thing on Kayak
They're
and
gonna do it
Expedia.
for us.
And it's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
I know. Well, we use Travel Central in Metairie. Who do you use?
Corporate travel. I
Corporate
think that's
travel.
their name. I just
That
met
sounds,
with them this
that
morning.
sounds very corporate.
Yeah.
Are they corporate?
They are. They are corporate, but they claim they get better
All
deals
right.
because of how big they
So
are.
that is Lee Isaacson, and sitting next to her is Brian Held Jr.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's Brian Held Sr. doing?
I don't know. He's in Washington State, so
Really?
Yes.
When's the last time you talked to him?
20 years ago,
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
as far as I know.
Is he your dad?
Yes.
And you haven't spoken to him in 20 years?
So, let's just dig into the sordid
Seriously?
past,
Buddy,
right out of the
intro.
gate.
That's
I didn't
quite
know
an
it was that
interesting.
kind of a show.
Yeah.
I had no idea either. What?
My dad is an alcoholic who
Yeah.
divorced. My mom and dad divorced when I was 2.5, and I didn't see him from the age of 6 to 26, and
Right.
then 26 to now I'm 43. So
What happened when you were 26? Did he just show up, or did you go try and?
I tried to find him, but
Right.
I realized that there was no connection there.
Right. I tell you what, I would suggest you do: take the junior off there. Just scratch it off.
No, because
Why?
I'm the only Brian Held Jr. on Facebook. How about that?
Okay.
It makes it easier. It's a distinction between me and him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
that's-
it's better. It's better
Absolutely.
to have the distinction.
Yeah.
What's your middle name?
Alan.
And what's his middle name?
Alan.
Oh shit.
Right. Brian Allen Held Sr.,
Yeah.
Brian Allen Held Jr., yeah.
So that's why. If you're a junior, do you have to have the same middle name as well?
I believe so, yeah. It's got to be
Lee,
exactly
do you
the
happen to
same.
know about that?
I
Thomas
have
says
no
yes, you
idea.
do.
I think those
Yeah.
are the rules.
Alison McConnell is here as well. Hey, Alison, how's it going?
Would you like to go right into
Come
my
on.
family history as
Yes.
well?
What's your dad's name?
My father is deceased. His name is Grant as well.
Grant McConnell. Really? That sounds very
He
foreign.
passed away just about 5 years ago.
Oh, really? Oh, that's sad.
We're getting right to it here.
Really? What-
If we're going to do it,
was
let's
he
do it.
was he an alcoholic as well?
He was not an alcoholic. He was a big supporter of my musical career and
Oh,
a really
that's
wonderful
nice.
person. So
Ah, well, what killed him so young?
my father had a brain tumor, and he had it operated on a couple of times successfully. And the third time that they operated on it, it did not go as
that
well
sucks.
as it was supposed to go. He was in a coma for about a month before he passed away.
Oh, that's awful. So he's pretty young too. I
He was 57.
It is pretty young. Oh, wow.
You're asking
Okay.
about travel
Shaping up
agents.
to be the happiest.
You got the easy stuff.
Lee, now your
Gosh.
parents are both still here and functioning normally.
Functioning,
Do you
yeah.
talk to both of your parents?
I do. I was just in Boston. They're both up there.
And they're still together?
They're not.
They're not still together?
No.
Okay, well, at least there's some sort of normalcy.
Tragedy. I wouldn't call
tragedy.
it that.
How long have they been apart for?
About 10 years.
And you talk to both of them equally?
I do.
Well, that's good at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
okay.
My
It
dad
is.
helped start our company with us, actually, me and
He
my
did.
sister. Yeah.
So your company is the same as on your T-shirt, which is Dig, the dog person's app. I'm not going to actually touch your breast or anything.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But I look like I was going to.
Yeah, probably confusing for the Facebook Live audience.
That is, so Dig. So for anyone who wants to dig, so tell us what Dig is. Then.
Dig is a dating app for dog lovers and dog owners. It's the best way to find a compatible date. Yeah, we just launched on the App Store just before Valentine's Day this year, which is an important time for
It's
dating
appropriate,
apps, as you
right.
can imagine. And we've been launching city by city. We were just in Chicago this last weekend with a big Pups and Pride event. So dogs wearing rainbows and unicorn outfits. And
There's
it
a
was really fun.
there's a gay dog organization.
Nope, it was just our event that we threw. It's Pride weekend, so we threw a Pups and Pride event there. But we go to
So
city
there's
by
no
city with big
connection
events.
between dogs and gays.
Well, they're just celebrating the pride, but the dogs don't necessarily identify as gay.
Okay,
Is what she's saying.
So it's
They
a
might.
coincidence.
They might.
Yeah,
never
it's a
know.
coincidence.
Are
So
they-
it's for people anyway.
Okay.
The dating app is for people.
Right. And are there actually animals that are gay besides humans?
That's a great question.
Anybody know the answer to that?
That is true.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
There are.
Yeah,
Gay animals. Brian.
homosexual activity has been expressed in the animal kingdom. It's been observed by scientists. You know,
Okay.
I'd have to dig up the fine details, but yes, it's
Dig
been-
up the phone.
I just read.
Ah,
Okay.
thanks,
Get it?
guys.
See what he did
Yeah.
there?
So-
I just read an article in the Atlantic about gay penguins
No.
There's such a thing as gay penguins.
and prostitute penguins. They will
What
sell
are
it
they-
out in the name of
Get it
those
while you can.
A
coveted rocks.
fish? Oh, okay, rock.
What? Do you get paid if you're a prostitute penguin?
So penguins build their nest with rocks, and they covet the rocks because it builds a nest. So females who are looking to build nests will sometimes have sex with the lonely males who haven't partnered up, and do it in exchange for rocks.
Wow, what about that? Okay.
That's all right.
What are you reading?
Where
do you get your
Good
information?
Question. Good question.
I'm on Wikipedia though, and it seems like over 20 different animals that
Are gay.
have gay relationships, such as dolphin, bison, bats, elephants, giraffes, marmots, lions, 4 different types of primates, sheep, lizard, tortoises.
Well, that's pretty much everything, right? I mean, other than earthworms, which
Makes
are, I
sense.
think, are both sexes.
Bed
what is that
bugs.
called?
Bed bugs have homosexual relationships.
Bed bugs.
Wow, the internet is so
What's
useful.
going on with? Isn't it really? Who knew all that?
Yeah.
So, Brian, you're in the radio.
Yeah.
That's why you have this.
Yeah, I'm the co-host of the Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. You can hear it every Sunday at 7 p.m. And we do host it as a podcast, iHeartRadio, WRNO.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff. So,
It's the Week in Geek.
The Week in Geek, yes, sir.
And what exactly would that entail? That's geek meaning.
So, like, we cover a lot of pop culture stuff, movies, television, comic books, conventions. We go all around the southeastern region to all kind of conventions like Wizard World New Orleans that happens at the Morial Convention Center every January. But we've gone to Dragon Con in Atlanta, Dallas Fan Expo. I mean, just there's tons of events all over the place. Interview great guests. We've had plenty of USA Today and New York Times bestselling authors. We've had media guests like the Russo brothers, Edward James Olmos, stuff like that. So actors, directors, it's just, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So this is a pretty big deal radio show then.
Absolutely.
Can you guys hear this like overcranking type?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot.
What is going on? I don't know what's happening. Everything's like distorted.
Yeah, distorting.
Yeah. Where's it? So can we? Oh, that's a lot. That might be better. Okay. Ah, thank goodness. That was punishing there for a minute. Okay, we're back. So sorry about that, Brian, because you're a radio professional, and after all, we're trying to impress you.
Yeah, right,
Damn.
right. Well, I did notice that you both have RE20s, and we've got these
Right.
Radio Shack mics.
That's because
like,
it's a podcast.
Yeah,
It's
right.
CASTE.
Yeah, no.
This is the cast system. We have the fancy mics, and you have the shitty.
Right, yeah.
Sure, I am. SM
Well said.
58. Yeah.
Oh, no, they're Shores. All right, that's cool.
No, they're good mics.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing.
No, there's nothing wrong with these mics at all.
Yeah.
So, I see that also that there's. They gave me this like paragraph about you.
Right.
I've never underlined anything so much in my life as all
Okay.
this stuff here. It says that you like to dress up in costumes and.
Absolutely. So I'm a cosplayer, but I also sew my own costumes. I do metalworking, leatherworking, all that kind of stuff. I'm a member of the 501st Legion, which is an international Star Wars costuming group. In fact, little shout out, I will be Darth Vader at the Baby Cakes game this Friday. So if you want to come out for Star Wars night and hang out, plenty of stormtroopers, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun to dress up, right? You know, we got to do it when we were kids. There's no reason to stop.
Well, it's a very New Orleans thing.
Absolutely.
To have a dress up, you know.
Because we don't need an
costumes in your-
excuse. It's Tuesday. You can dress up, right?
Where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Lafayette, but I got
Lafayette,
out,
Louisiana.
Yes. But I got out as fast as I could. I left at 14, and I've been here ever since.
Lafayette's a cool place. So you can wear costumes in Lafayette as well. They're not
You
like-
can, but it's like a big little town, right? And New Orleans is so much better, right? I mean, there's good food in Lafayette. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like I did the same thing every year, kind of deal. And there's always something fresh and new in New Orleans.
New Orleans, okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of costumes and fresh and new and Lafayette, I went to the Cajun Mardi Gras for the first time this past Mardi Gras.
Did you chase some chickens?
Did you do
I
it?
chased the chickens, yeah. Didn't catch one, but somebody who did catch one let me hold one.
Were you on the Anthony Bourdain show?
No, I was in the other. So there's two different bigger cities, towns that
Okay.
they do the parade in, the Cajun Mardi Gras walk, march, whatever you might call it. I was in the other one, unfortunately, but yeah, Bourdain was a hero to me too. So
Did you
Yeah,
get drunk and fall off a horse?
I didn't get on a horse. I did get drunk. You know.
So
and
what
you-
happens? Tell us what happens.
Well,
you
you-
walk around behind horses chasing chickens?
You design your own costume,
Have
which
you done it, Allison? As well?
I haven't, but I've seen
Yeah.
footage.
Totally. It's just like you make your own fringe out of old cloth and you staple it to some costume. You know, you make your own costume.
Okay.
And the key is you have to have your face covered.
Okay.
Otherwise, the villains, if you will, a villain in French, right? They come around. They're the evil ones in the figurative sense who will whip you if your mask is not on. Or other...
For real?
Yeah, yes. Yes, for real.
Okay.
Or other infractions. So you get there...
It can be painful or enjoyable depending on your, how
Absolutely.
you roll.
Cup of tea.
All right.
hazing
yeah.
is involved for the beginners. You know, it's yeah.
Did you do this, Brian, when you lived in it?
No,
You
I
never
didn't.
did the Corrida Mardi Gras?
No.
And women aren't invited to be a part of it to that one, too?
Oh no, they are absolutely
okay.
yeah.
I thought women weren't.
Yeah, the other one, they're not allowed in
Yeah.
there. They get shooed off or whatever.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
I just
50-50
saw that
at
whole
least.
Bourdain show that he
Same,
was
yeah.
saying that women aren't allowed to do it.
And it was the tattered sort of costume thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, this
What
was.
is the-
You
What
sound
is
like you're at
co-ed.
the cooler one, then.
Yeah,
I
felt
appreciate
cool.
that.
What is
Yeah.
the genesis of the costume, do you know, with all the sort of fringy... Looks like a sort of
I don't know.
weird...
It certainly has a story. I knew that there was a story I didn't know when I found out about the villains who, you know,
Right.
walk around and they are their own role. And I thought, okay, there's a story here. There's something going on.
It's a myth.
Yeah, some sort of myth. You stop at different houses, and those houses, you know, give away a chicken is the idea, and everybody chases the chicken. Somebody catches the chicken. So.
Okay, and then there's a big gumbo is made with those actual chickens afterwards, or is that...
Gumbo was made. It was not made with those actual chickens. It was ready much too quickly once we
Okay.
had arrived back when we started. So, although I got another story about chickens and gumbo. I was playing a show opening for this band, and then the guitarist was an old-timer from Nashville. And he said, where are you from? And I said, New Orleans. And he said, oh, yeah, Louisiana. I'm not going to try to do his accent, but you know it. He says, yeah, it was back in the day. I was going through some small Louisiana town, and we stopped by this place called, let's say it was Bruce's Tavern and Cockpit. And they didn't know what Cockpit was until set break, when everybody filed through this small hall into this stadium seating in an 8-foot ceiling,
The chickens.
and they released and they did cockfighting,
On the separate.
and they took the dead ones and they made gumbo with it, and they called it Losers Gumbo.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. That was only
I
out
want to
very
write.
recently.
I got to write that song.
Yeah, good idea.
Jeez.
Losers Go.
The
Talking of
Losers.
songwriting, Allison,
That is a song.
Allison,
I don't know
I've
what
got
kind
a-
of song,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that is a song.
It's
you know
funky.
what's great about having you on the show, Allison, is that for once I don't have to say singer-songwriter. I would not regard you as a singer-songwriter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a guitar player.
I would say that you're a rock musician.
Well, thanks. I mean, I'll take that too. That's cool.
Wouldn't you? Is that how do you describe yourself?
I mean, I am a songwriter probably first and foremost. I picked up guitar to start writing music as,
Really?
as a
Well,
way
you started
to...
off as a poet.
I've been a writer and a poet probably the longest. Although I played piano as a kid, maybe like 6-7 years of lessons, and I never saw it through, never thought I was going to do anything with it. I didn't want to play classical music, apparently, at that time in my life, which I think
Strange.
is, true for
Yeah.
a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Now I, of course, kick myself for that. But,
Not really,
but I
because
quit
you
playing
want to be a
piano.
classical musician, really,
Well, that
compared to rock and roll.
I wish I had kept playing. my chops would be different. But I quit piano when I think I was 11 or 12, and then started playing guitar when I was in college and afterwards. So I didn't really start writing
started
music
playing guitar in
or playing
college?
an instrument until I was in my late 20s.
So what did you start out? You started out as a writer.
As a writer and a singer, yep, mostly words.
Right. Well, what made you...
Later chords and
What
melody
made
and
you
things
want to
like
be
that.
a rock star?
You know, to tell you the truth, I don't think I could explain how I ended up playing music for a living now. Deliberately, I sort of fell into it. I kind of backed into it. I was at a point in my life when a lot of things had changed that I did not think were going to change. My father passing away being the biggest thing.
Right.
I lost a couple of friends very unexpectedly, and I also got divorced. So all of those things
that all
kinda
happened at the same time?
came together in about a 6-month period when I was just
Wow,
sort
that
of
was
left.
a bit of a crossroads.
It was intense.
So you could have become
but this
a
is
drug...
that kind of show I
Yeah.
learned. So we just
Yeah.
get right in.
Yeah.
We
So you
threw
could
it
have been,
into it. So
you could have ended up being a drug addict or an
I
alcoholic.
tried to be an alcoholic for quite
Did
a
you
while.
start
I drank
drinking a lot?
of bourbon to try to.
What kind of bourbon
keep-
did you like?
Blanton's is my favorite.
Blanton's?
The one with the horse on top of
I
the
don't
bottle.
know that. Ah,
Yeah,
really?
it's the
You guys
round
know that
bottle
one?
with the horse on top. Yeah, but be careful. Just a word to the wise.
Okay.
It's too good. That's the problem. It's delicious, and it's a very convenient way to keep your pain kind of at a safe distance. You
Right.
think for a while. But sort of in that haze of the year, it was 2013, which was just a terrible year for my family in a lot of ways. I just sort of didn't know what else to do, so I started writing. And poetry at that point didn't seem like enough. It needed to be something more cathartic, so I picked up a guitar that I had purchased kind of, on a lark, not thinking I would ever play seriously, that I had put down for years and years. I picked it back up and wrote a couple of songs that ended up on my first record. And
That's a real rock and roll story. Now,
Here we are.
what were the first one? The first record was the...
the
what's it
first
called?
record's called These Walls.
These Walls. And which ones were the first songs you wrote on that?
The title track is probably the first
Right.
one that came to me
That's
from
a
that
real rocker.
project.
Right.
It's sort of it's like a big David Gilmour, Pink Floyd kind of modern British blues style of ballad, and I was really depressed, to be perfectly honest. I was really bummed out, so I wrote some bummed out music. And I was fortunate to get paired up with a producer. I was in D.C. for a while before I came here, for about 10 years. My producer in Arlington, Virginia, is a guy named Marco Del Mar, and he is very much a David Gilmour kind of player. So he heard the demos and just right away got it. He said, "Your music is about despair." Sorry, that's just sort of what it's
Despair,
about. And Pink
okay.
Floyd does despair better than anybody else, that we can think of. I said, "You're right, actually. How did you figure all that out?" So he helped me kind of take a couple of those songs from their infancy, just me and this guitar,
Right.
to being much bigger, big, sort of soaring rock ballads.
Hey, well,
When all
what
that
about,
was done, I thought, oh my God, this is how music works.
What about playing something?
I'd be happy to.
Pull out the
You want to hear
guitar.
that song? I can play you
That's
that
now,
one.
what do you feel like playing?
Well, that's a good one.
That's a good one?
to start
Okay.
with,
That's a
and-
big guitar.
I was going to say, so Andrew's here, and we haven't played together before, but there's only like 3 or 4 chords in a lot of my songs. So
Okay.
if you're interested and you
When
want
in
to
doubt,
join me,
leave it out, but I'll see what I can do.
I
Look at
always
this
tell people
nice
I was
guitar.
in a cover band in D.C. fronted by this amazing woman named Kate, and she used to say to us in a huddle before we would go out, she'd say, "If you think you're going to suck, don't." I'm like, that's the perfect advice.
That's good advice. Yeah, okay.
Perfect advice for playing music.
Okay.
If you think you're going to suck, don't.
Just
You'll be
don't.
fine. It's an E minor.
Cool.
It's super easy. But yeah, this is the title track from my first record. It's called These Walls, and it's a song that I wrote when I was literally sitting in my mom's house. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my pick. Sitting in my mom's house trying to put a few things together in terms of my life.
Okay. Are we all right?
The
Okay.
emergency backup. I think I've got my emergency backup.
What have you lost?
Guitar pick.
Guitar
Andrew's
pick?
got me, which I appreciate, but I use the yellow ones.
I like the yellow too. I'm
Do
back
you?
and forth. Orange to yellow.
All right. These walls.
Just gonna get this
I'm so excited.
somehow.
Look at this
No,
little
you can
concert
sing.
right
You
here.
can sing backup if you like.
You definitely
you.
can.
Can you sing?
I used to sing.
You did.
Yeah, it
What-
was like Annie
like-
in the show Annie in
You were in
7th
Annie.
grade.
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
play Annie
I did.
with the curly hair and everything?
Of course,
Ah,
yeah, I was
perfect. Okay.
typecasted.
Have you done any singing since 7th grade? Because this could
Not
be a good
really.
opportunity.
No,
okay.
not much.
Well, this could be your day. Is it?
All right, how's that? You hear me?
Yep.
say we always get to choose. I know the truth, everything falls. Oh, yes, it does. My home is my haven. It's also my hell. You must understand. Some nights, I try to run far, babe. Run just about as far as I can. All right.
Good for Andrew.
These walls seen their share now. I'm dying and disrepair. These walls all seen their share now. I'm dying and disrepair. Oh no, no. Said I've been looked down, no, Ooh, been looked down, been
Okay. Wow.
Thanks, Andrew.
Alison McConnell
Thank you.
and Andrew Duhon together again for the very first time.
Just like
Together
we practiced.
again.
Just
together
like you guys
again for the
rehearsed.
very first
Yeah.
time.
We rehearsed it.
Very
When
nice
you see somebody
indeed.
with a guitar in hand, you're like,
But I can hear
Give it
the
a shot.
Can you hear the despair in that, Lee? Would you say?
Despair. That's exactly how I would describe
I
it.
mean,
Brian, what do you think?
Oh, no, it's wonderful. I enjoyed it.
Very,
Your
very.
voice is
It does.
beautiful. I can't. So you started with guitar and writing, and then you found that you could sing, or how did that work?
I mean, I've always sung. I was in chorus as a kid. I took a little bit of classical vocal training. I kind of was piano and then voice for a while, and then kept singing through college. And that's when I kind of put, after college, was putting guitar and voice together and started to actually
See, it's
write.
not too late for you, Lee. You
And
could
that's
discover
the-
that you're actually a rock
You
musician.
never know.
Right? Yeah.
You're not
It's
too
not
old.
just
Never
Annie.
know.
Right, not just Annie. Annie's
Tomorrow.
but it says here that you're actually an adjunct professor
I am.
at Tulane University, and this is my
cool.
favorite, of media, terrorism, and disasters.
I have a
Oh.
surprise background, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You look
I
so normal.
got my master's in Homeland Security and Emergency Response Management here at Tulane.
What better place than
Right.
New Orleans to have a master's degree in
know.
Disaster.
we call you?
Disaster, right? So even
Was that
before
after the disaster?
So before that, I was a TV reporter. So I used to report here for Fox 8 News. I was a reporter in Syracuse for the ABC station there, and for One Africa Television in Namibia, in Southwest Africa. Yep. And
I'm also a former journalist.
oh, cool.
Where-
And my family's from upstate New York, right by Syracuse.
Where?
So
Oh,
that's pretty
awesome.
weird.
By
Yeah.
Syracuse. Are you both from near Syracuse?
My family's from Binghamton, actually, but close.
What's it called?
Binghamton,
Binghamton.
which is like an hour and a half
Binghamton.
south
Binghamton.
of Syracuse.
Really?
Yep.
And you were a journalist as well?
I was for a little while.
Who
so that's
for?
so crazy. We
Where?
were both we're former and hopefully reformed journalists. I worked in D.C. for a couple different news services. Yeah.
Really? As a reporter?
And an editor and a broadcaster.
What about that?
I love
Yep.
it.
How crazy? For what, like a newspaper or
I wrote
radio
about
or-
financial news. I wrote specifically about municipal bonds for a while. That was really interesting. Exactly. Everyone
Okay.
just calm down. Tax-free municipal bonds. State and local finance is very important, though. So it's a.
Who for? Was it for a newspaper or
I worked for a
online?
couple different places. I worked for a company called Stateline that does politics and policy for state-by-state news. I worked for a company called Need to Know that did financial news and breaking like real time for financial news services.
Now, why did you both get out of it?
Probably the same reason.
What is it?
I was super jaded. After covering the financial crisis, I really, really was angry about what was going on. And I got completely pissed off with journalism and sort of the government in general, and decided I wanted to stop writing about it.
Wow, is that?
What was it about?
I don't know if
journalism?
that was Lee's experience.
What was Lee?
I
Why
would
did you
say
get out?
it's not dissimilar. I mean, the world of journalism, you want to be promoting democracy. You want to be doing these stories that you're in depth. You work on, as much as you can, and you really are proud of. And at the end of the day, I felt like I was doing 3 stories a day. I'd get in at 9. I'd have a story turn around by noon, and then a story turn around by 5. Sometimes another one for 6. Make a revamp for 10, and then come in the next day and have to present new story ideas rather than
a
working on
mill.
anything.
Yeah.
It's a mill. And I was in investigative reporting as much as I could, but ended up doing most of that on my own time with making no money on top of it.
Wow. Well, this is
and
broadcast journalism.
this is broadcast journalism, broadcast digital
not
journalism,
an easy
because you
business.
have a tweet quota on top of that, and you have to write your web story on top of
tweet
that.
quota?
They not only, so you saw the big live vans, you can picture the live news vans outside where they have the microwave or whatever on top to go live, but now they've got backpacks. So you're not only the live truck operator, the videographer, the editor, and the reporter, but then you're also the digital reporter, and you're doing social media in the car on your way to the story that you're supposed to be covering. And it was it ended up being a nightmare. It's a tornado of negativity in there. You're working with people who used to do
Wow.
incredible work every day, and they've been forced and cut out and all sorts of stuff. So it's
And the 24-hour
Yeah.
news cycle.
We
killed
haven't lost
everybody.
your touch because we've already got tweet quota and tornado of negativity.
thanks. Yeah,
And that
no,
one-
still talking about it.
So you were a little disingenuous when we started the show because
Yeah.
you said you brought together people from that only
Random.
random people that
It is
only had
random.
New Orleans in common, and yet you brought 3 media people
Isn't
on the
that
show.
crazy though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I have to say
Former.
Right.
I don't bring anyone on the show
I'm a degenerate
because I don't
musician.
book anyone. That's the position of our producer Graham DePonte. She books everybody.
Okay.
But it's amazing how it is actually random. But it turns out that people have there's no way we would have known that.
Right. No,
That
I'm
you're both
playing. I'm
journalists.
playing.
Isn't
It's
it-
all good.
but isn't it crazy,
It
though?
is. It is.
It's crazy how that works.
And Lee and I were talking about earlier because she was with Fox 8, and Fox 8 and iHeartMedia work together, and that's where
that right?
my station is on iHeartMedia. So
Right. So
yeah.
you're part of iHeartMedia.
Right.
Now
Right.
iHeartMedia is like totally bankrupt now, and there's like $20
We're
billion
coming
in the
back.
hole or something crazy.
Yeah, we're coming
Are
back.
you part of the reason that they went under?
No, come
No,
on.
Nerd Week is leading the revolution.
Yeah.
That's what I
Exactly.
The
heard.
Week in Nerd.
Well,
Is that
it's
what it's
a-
called? The Week in Geek.
The Week in Geek,
Oh,
right?
shoot.
So the thing
I
is,
called it Nerd Week.
it's fine.
Sorry.
I'm not quite sure what's an insult and what's not.
show.
now.
Well, you look,
Is geek-
we've been getting our butts kicked since we were in elementary school. It doesn't matter now,
can
right?
take it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have thick skin. So, but yeah, I mean,
Were you like a geeky kid as well?
yeah, totally, dude. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was 10, just like those kids from Stranger Things. Totally.
And did people pick on you as a kid?
Yeah. I went to a Catholic school in Lafayette,
Right.
and so I had the same kids at school from pretty much kindergarten all the way through middle school.
Yeah.
And I was the poor kid who just got, totally picked on. And why do you read comic books? And that's dumb and all it, And I was looking for an escape, right? Because those people were brutal.
What,
so
what did you do? What do you do for a real job?
Right now I'm in between jobs. I was working for General Dynamics as a business analyst. I just got laid off, actually. But
General Dynamics as a business analyst.
Yeah, and I have 21 years experience in information technology. So I used to work for Chevron as a video conferencing subject matter expert, right? And, doing computer.
So you're corporate.
Yeah, I do a lot of corporate stuff,
You don't come across as a corporate guy at all.
No, not how I look. I mean, jeans and a T-shirt right now. But yeah, I mean, I totally can do a suit and everything.
What is this? What is this movie on this thing on your T-shirt? Tenet Noctis.
So Tenet Noctis,
with the sort of Islamic symbol and the Judaic symbol.
Right. So my friend John Mangus from Baton Rouge wrote the screenplay for this. And it's a story about the Crusades, about the Crusaders in the Holy Land. They're fighting against...
Can't beat it.
Right, the
The
Saracens.
Jews versus the Arabs.
Well, no, it's the Christians, right?
It's the Christians.
Yeah, those are
So
the
how
Crusaders.
come this has the Jews and the Arabs on there then?
Well, because they're
trying to
in there
convert
too.
everybody.
Right. Regardless...
What was the story behind it?
Behind the Crusades?
Yeah.
The Christians trying to convert everybody?
The Christians are trying to kill
Yeah,
everybody.
they were trying to save the Holy Land from the infidels, right? And so they ran in there, and the infidels said, get out. So, trying to save Jerusalem.
Who was the Christians came along third. First of all, there were the Jews, then there were the Muslims, and then there were the Christians. Or was it the other way around?
No,
Was it the Jews and then the
the
Christians?
Jews, then the Christians, then the Muslims. Yes.
Okay.
A Jew walks into a bar.
So in this case, that's the movie story.
So the movie is that you've got the Crusaders and the Saracens that are fighting, and then there's a supernatural enemy that presents itself, and they have to band together to fight against it.
Is it God?
Right? Is it who? Is it God?
Is it God?
It is
Right.
not God. So
Can you
Didn't I
do
just
Can
see
you do
that
the trailer? Because you've got the
Avengers?
right voice for it.
I do, but the trailer's out there. It exists out there right now, a sizzle reel. So what it was Tim Russ, who was Lieutenant Commander Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager, came down. We brought him down, and he directed this.
I said, this is a movie. It's been made already.
It-
This is not just a T-shirt and an idea. This is an actual movie.
We have done a production trailer, a sizzle reel, to try to get it funded to be made
I
into
see.
a movie.
Okay.
Right. So, actually, on AmazonStudios.com, under the movie section, it's listed there. If you want to go check it out, you can see two trailers from it.
Sizzle reel.
Exactly. That's the industry term, man.
Sizzle reel. That's like a
love
sort of
that.
you can try and sell it based on.
Right. You're trying to find
trailer.
investors and stuff like that to
Right.
back your idea. Yeah,
How
absolutely.
much is it going to cost to make this thing? You have to go to Israel or something to make
Yeah,
it.
that's what I wanna see.
No, we can probably do it here.
You could do it here in the bayou.
Can you front me about $10 million?
It's $10
$10 million.
I mean, look, come on. Marvel movies are in that
Shoot high.
250,
Yes.
right? I'm giving you
I
easy
don't
money.
know.
You're
Is
not
it?
going to get it if you don't ask for it.
Exactly.
Right on,
Exactly.
And
Is
I was
it-
told, right, if you're fundraising, you can't ask for too little. And then
Right.
people don't take you seriously.
Have you done any
Right.
sort of
Exactly.
fundraising, Allison? Have you done any like GoFundMe or anything?
I've done nothing official like that, but I've put together a
begging?
couple of companies, just begging my family and friends to support my
Right.
artistic and business endeavors, yes.
So you haven't done GoFundMe or anything like that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Selling municipal bonds, or what were you
Yeah.
calling it?
Yeah, in my post-journalist era, I started a food company in D.C., and then I started
Did
a
you?
record label here when I moved here to
So you started a record
support
label and
my-
a food company.
Yeah, the food
What-
company is now defunct, but I ran it when I
What
was in
sort of
Washington.
food company was it? What did it do?
It was called The Humble Gourmand, and it was a company that connected farmers in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia area, that kind of ring around D.C., and consumers who were in urban environments who didn't have access to really good pasture-raised food. So the idea was, back before it was easy to get
like a
some of that at a
food-to-table
co-op
type.
or a grocery store,
Right.
I was
Yeah.
doing like a delivery service thing. I was basically selling meat out of the back of my car. This is what this means.
Okay.
I
That's
was
a pretty good
I was
idea.
a grass-fed meat dealer. It was fun.
It does sound
very
like a good-
very educational
Yeah.
time of my life. I learned a lot about the food system.
Did it turn you into a vegetarian, or do you still eat
I don't eat a lot of meat if I
because
can.
of that? Once you get a lot of meat in the
Because
back
of
of your
what
car,
what you know.
did you have a refrigerated system?
I actually had 6 deep freezers in my basement at one point. That was the high point. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the electricity bill like for that?
It was not cheap, but it actually, like, back in
Humble gourmand.
2005, 2006 in DC, it wasn't really common to be kind of out there educating people about what the grocery store, what
could've-
industrially
you would do
raised
better
meat
with
looks
that
like
here.
versus
You would have, you would
the
do
other alternatives.
That
So
would work here, though, don't you think?
Louisiana doesn't seem to have a huge. I don't see a lot of vegetables sometimes, so I do wonder. I know someone who actually is running a service like this, and she's struggled a little bit to find a consumer base and a foothold for what she's doing.
I see people driving around in pickup trucks with freezers on the back. You know them, those guys?
Hey, look,
Steaks?
ever since Mr. Okra passed, we don't get the vegetables, right?
They're not driving around your neighborhood anymore?
There are
I
needs.
thought somebody
Yeah.
was taking
There are
over
needs
from
in
this.
the
gotta
neighborhood.
take that
Yeah, I think his
Hey, listen,
daughter
I'm gonna
is
do
taking
these-
over.
Oh,
for him.
okay, good.
I think so.
Miss Okra Jr.
Oh, all
I'm going
right.
to do these things here, Andrew. You want to play a little bit of guitar in the background, and then
You got it.
And then I got to get you to play a song. Hey, so Happy Hour is brought to us today also by Basics Swim and Gym, where you get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout and yoga clothes with style. Basics Swim and Gym is next to the lingerie store. Basics underneath on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue, and thanks to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. If you go to hdestroyer.com and write Happy Hour in the coupon code, you'll get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer, and you too can seize the dawn. And thanks to Louisiana Legs, where you can get workout and yoga clothes with designs that incorporate photographic art like Mardi Gras beads and wrought iron. You can find Louisiana Legs on Facebook and Instagram, and you can buy Louisiana Legs on Etsy. And from the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage. And thanks to our family at Patreon. If you'd like to be a part of our Happy Hour Patreon family, go to patreon.com and look for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. And for as little as $1 a month, you can be part of our Happy Hour family and even get on the show. And now Andrew Duhon, who has a new record out called False River, which is available everywhere. Thank you very much for it.
Oh, no.
False
please,
River
thank
is available on Spotify and everywhere else, other places that you can steal music or pay for it.
So wait, I gotta ask.
Yes.
Why don't you have free samples of Hangover Destroyer here for your guests? Because
We do have I got thousands of sachets of Hangover Destroyer,
Yeah.
and I'm waiting for Mr. Hangover Destroyer to replace the thing that we put them in, the display thing, which
yeah.
have been destroyed over the years, and he doesn't send them to me.
okay.
So until he does, I'm not going to bring 50,000 sachets of Hangover Destroyer, but we have it. We can put it right on the table right here.
All right.
I can bring you some if you like some, if you want to come back.
Sure, I'll come back
Okay.
anytime. Yeah.
All right. Well, wait. So I see on your website, Alison, that you have a notebook on your website that has poetry.
I have some of my
So where
writing
you click
available,
on
yep.
writing, it's got. You
Yep,
click,
there's a whole
and if you
bunch
go
of
to andrewduhon.com and you click on that, you'll see also Andrew has a notebook on his.
Used to. I don't think you
Is
can
that
get
gone
it.
now?
Yeah.
And here you have the actual notebook here in front of you.
Yeah. Got a new draft for you.
Okay. You have a new
Well,
song.
I could try to bring you something fresh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, before we do that, let's talk about the record.
Sure.
So the record's called False River, which is exactly as it looks, as it sounds.
Right.
And it is available everywhere. How's the tour around the country and the record going?
It's been good. Just got back from the Northeast. That was cool. Did D.C. to New Hampshire. D.C. was excellent. New York was so-so. It was great.
You're out there. Okay, so it's working.
Yeah.
Are people buying the record, actually?
Yeah, it's interesting. The last record was 4 years ago, but they used to buy CDs, and every now and again you'd get somebody to buy a vinyl. These days it's 50-50, if not weighted to the vinyl side.
How
which is
interesting is that?
It is interesting. It's cool for now because obviously the profit margin on a $25 vinyl is better, but
It's $25 for the record.
yeah.
And $10 for the CD.
15 for the
15,
CD.
okay.
But I'm a little worried about this flux and how sustainable it is or isn't, and if merch goes away, the touring musician is going to struggle to figure out how to make it make sense.
Right. Alison, what do you sell at your gigs?
Seconded.
Yeah.
I agree. We sell CDs also, the band that I've been playing with,
Right.
and we sell my 2 records. And that's it for right now, but I'm definitely in Andrew's camp.
Well, the problem is that you can't make anything
It's
as a
a
musician
hustle.
off selling actual downloads.
You're not going to make it off
Right.
people streaming your stuff.
Right. There's no
way.
money on Spotify, and there's no money from any of these other services either. So you have to. It's merch only.
And not that many people buy CDs. Some people
Right.
do,
Right.
but they're becoming more of a.
Well, people don't have a CD player
Like a
anymore.
collector's thing, right.
CDs. My car doesn't take it. I'm
Right.
sorry, I don't have
Yeah.
a way to play it. My
Right.
car doesn't take it. My laptop doesn't take it, and so
It's a dying,
I don't even
dying
think about
medium.
Right.
Yeah.
that makes me so sad.
Well, it's very difficult for a musician to. I mean, this is the reality: is that you keep hearing the music business has changed. Well, this is how it's changed. Super talented people can't make a living unless you buy a baseball cap or a T-shirt off them.
Yeah. Yeah, because physical media is so 1996, right?
Right.
From the geek perspective, right?
Yeah, we're 20 years.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
well, what is the geek
20 years
perspective
on.
on this? Because this is a kind of a world of people who survive sort of on the margins of the entertainment industry.
Right,
So
absolutely. I mean,
what would your advice to the music industry people be to survive?
Definitely. I mean, you have to have the merchandise, right? Because everybody wants streaming. They want cloud-based content. They want it when they want it. They don't want to be sitting in front of, a television or a radio or whatever at a certain time. I want my thing now. I want to binge it now, right? Look at Netflix and are you still watching, right? Because you've been glued to it for 13 hours. So, but they want it instantaneously, and physical media is just... Even though there's a few hangers on, there's not many, right? Why have physical media when I can have everything on this phone? And for us New Orleanians who understand, right after Katrina, I had a friend of mine who was evangelizing the Kindle because he's like, look at that bookcase, right? That's a lot of books and it's really heavy. So I can either carry that when I evacuate, or I can take this device with my entire library on it.
Okay, but get to the solution part of the conversation here.
The solution is like you said, merchandise, right, and touring, right. You got to either sell tickets to events and get that live dollar, right, from audiences.
It takes
and
a certain amount of a fan base in order to do. That's
Well, how do
not
guys
something
like
that
you
walk
make a living,
into.
and you dress up as Darth Vader and so on? How are you guys all making a living out of this?
Well, so that stuff, the 501st Legion, that's all volunteer. We do a lot of charity work. So, I paid, I don't know, over the years, probably $4,000 in costumes for Star Wars, just Star Wars alone. But, we're doing stuff like going to Children's Hospital and putting smiles on sick kids' faces. I mean, that's...
So you're
I'm
not trying to make any money out
No.
of being a cosplay?
No. There are people who do it. There's plenty of cosplayers who go, they get paid to go to events, right? The event will pay them to show up, and then they sell autographed pictures of themselves and make a few bucks. And there's some who make a lot. Yaya Han out of Atlanta has an entire cloth line from Joanne Fabrics. So there are cosplayers in the industry who do really well, but... a lot of them, it's merchandise. Kayumi Cosplay, she's a German cosplayer. She does a lot of tutorials. She writes books. People buy her books to find out how to make costumes, and then they're digitally available, right?
Are you getting any angle here, Andrew?
No. Okay, so...
I'm not hearing anything.
So, like,
helpful.
in every niche of an industry, there will be, like, the celebrities who can make a living, but I don't think that is necessarily going to give you an angle on how you make a living on your thing.
Right.
But I will say that on the show, the saving grace for merch at show, what you were saying about why would I get a CD when I can listen to it here, there, I think that's exactly correct. But the saving grace, I think, is when people go to a show, they have that experience, and the souvenir still is a thing. People want a souvenir, so... That's
something
why,
tangible that you can carry
and the
home.
vinyl has a bigger picture on it, and it's more tactile than a CD. So the vinyl's living strong, and so are T-shirts, and these things are still selling at shows. Not so much online for the reason you
Absolutely.
mentioned.
And I don't want you to autograph my phone. So
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
You wouldn't want the autograph. Exactly right. Something to autograph. You're right. But I think, in my mind, the next step is going to be exclusive content. So this program is on Patreon, and you guys do some exclusive content, right? I think as artists become more accessible to everyone through the internet, they have to make content that is, okay, this one's not free. You pay $5 to see this one, and obviously you have to build your free content enough. The freemium model, if you will.
Right.
Free content has to be enough where people are interested in you. They want everything you got. And then you name your price,
So the crossover for apps is really similar because I have a dating app that's completely free, and once you have enough people, we'll offer subscription tiers where
That's
you can
it.
have additional features. But you're only getting 10% or fewer people who are going to do that. So for us, we make zero, and we offer a great product.
So what's the way to make money for you? What's the pathway to profit when you have an app?
You want a lot of people, and you can either go acquisition route, and it's access to those people for those companies, or you can do the subscription tiers. So right now you get 5 people a day on Dig. We'll do a subscription tier where you can have unlimited, for example, once we have enough people build up on the app.
I'm allowed to contact 5 people a day. You mean?
You don't. Yeah. You can see 5 people and decide if you
that
dig,
how
really dig, or pass on them.
Is that how Match.com works, or how?
Different apps
Tinder
are doing
isn't?
it completely differently. So Tinder is one of those unlimited, and they have different freemium type
Well,
models
how does
now.
Tinder
but
make money?
same thing. So they have about 10% of their users that do different subscription features, and
Okay.
you'll see them offering you. But for us, what we're doing is you can actually plan a dog-friendly date right from the app. So you've got a daily deal from dog companies, and dog companies will pay us to be featured on that daily deal.
Okay.
We have dog-friendly locations near you, so you can suggest a first date idea right from the app in the messaging, and companies will pay to be featured on that list. And then tips or tricks of the day from vets and trainers. So we're keeping it free for our users and trying to offer
you can
a
make-
revenue another way.
Right.
Monday morning quarterbacking here, but I think for your freemium model, it would be great is the free platform. You can only pick dates based on pictures of their dogs only. And you already thought of this.
There have been apps like that. They haven't worked quite as
really?
well as you might
Yeah.
think. People do want
I-
to see the humans.
I can't imagine it would work. Yeah.
It's more fun, though, because you're looking at the people and then you see their dogs. And it makes them more human
Totally.
in a way, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, and if
Their
your dogs aren't going to get
personality, yeah.
along, then you need to know.
then it's
right
not
away.
going to work.
Right, it's not
Right.
gonna work.
It's not
So
going to work.
anybody can download Dig. from
Anybody
the
can
App
download
Store
it
or
on the App Store, but we are creating Android right now. So
Okay. And so if
hold
I
on
do
in
it,
there.
I can go on a date. It's a dating app, but I don't have to have a dog myself.
No, you don't. So you can search for someone with a dog or without a dog. And that's important because we know not all dogs get along. Maybe you want to find someone who will just love your dog as much as you do, or someone you can get a puppy with in the future. And this is serious compatibility issues for people. I mean, this
Right.
is talking about your home life. If you're sleeping with a
Right.
dog in the bed, then there's something else to consider when you're dating. So
What kind of dog have you got?
a German short-haired pointer. She does this.
What's her name?
Penny.
Connie?
Penny.
Penny. Like Penny Lane.
Yeah.
Penny the short-haired pointer.
Yeah.
That's nice. How old is Penny?
She just turned 2.
Oh, sweet. Okay. How did you come up with this crazy idea? Oh, it was your sister came up with this idea, right?
Yes, you've heard this story.
I know the story.
So my sister and I are co-founders. She's listening right now. Hi, Casey. She was dating a guy who tried to be a dog person for her. And by the end of the relationship, you know where this is going. By the end of the relationship, he didn't want the dog in his apartment, and he would put towels down on the couch so the dog couldn't touch anything. Right. That's exactly.
So
throw your
something
hands
had
up in
to
the air. It's
go.
not going to work.
Either he had to go or the dog had to go.
Yeah, well,
dude's
she
gotta go.
said, I wish I just knew from the start that it wasn't
Right.
going to work because of my dog. It's not something I'm going to give up. It's not something I'm going to change about myself ever. I don't want to. And so we talked to so many people who had stories like this. And me being a data person, we found crazy statistics, like 55% of single adults in the U.S. are pet owners. So if you're looking
What?
for a single person
55%?
anyway, yeah, they're
Over
more
half of
likely to be,
Americans.
or single Americans, yeah.
And what's the just split between Republican and Democrat?
That's a great question.
Thank you. Finally, a great question.
Yeah.
It's almost all over. And
I
finally
don't have the answer to that,
You don't
but
know
I'd
that
love
one?
to see the cat-dog breakdown.
I would like to see. I would like to see the Democrat-Republican breakdown on pet owners.
I
think
might
so,
explain
too.
a lot of things.
I wonder if
Yeah.
I wonder if it crosses evenly.
Are we all dog people here?
Totally.
We're in a
Yeah.
safe space?
I'm a new
What have you
cat
got?
person.
You've got a
Okay.
cat.
I have a dog, and then my boyfriend has a cat, and this is the first time I've
Wow.
lived
Ah.
in the same environment with a cat. And I actually he's a sweetheart.
Wow.
He's really incredible.
Some cats are
So-
nice.
See, it's always surprising when you hear that,
I
though,
know,
right? Like, it's
I
a.
know.
But you
I
wouldn't
had a
want.
prejudice going
What
into
about
it.
a
I was
cat
like,
dating app? Nobody would want that.
So everybody asks me. So
Do
the
they?
the first 2 I get is when are you going to do the cat app, and then when are you going to do the horse app? Because
oh,
horse
that's
people.
too much of a niche
are-
market. there.
But
No
the
one's
think
got a horse.
about it,
Serious.
they're
Who
real.
owns a horse?
I mean, the
What about
problem
boat
is
owning?
you have to understand a horse person if you're a horse person. It's money, it's time, it's all that kind of. So I get it, but we're going to stick with dogs for now.
It'd be good to date someone who owns a horse because they would have to be wealthy, I would imagine, right
It's
off the bat.
probably
right
part of
there.
it, yeah.
So that would be pretty attractive. It's like a boat owning person.
I bet there's an
If you're
app for
looking
that
for
too.
wealthy people only dating app. Is
I'm
there like
sure there's an app
There's
for
so
Is
that.
there an app
many.
for that?
I mean, half of-
millionaire dating app?
If you go
I bet
on
there
Tinder
is.
down here now, you're basically just looking at guys. All their pictures are holding fish because that's the only pictures guys take. Like that's the only selfie they
That's
have,
right.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Andrew's got pictures of himself with dead
Are
fish.
you a fisherman?
You got me pegged. That's all.
Yeah.
Fish.
So
Fish,
I didn't
fish,
get to
fish.
this, but after I was a reporter, I was the regional director for the Coastal Conservation Association
Oh, yeah.
of Louisiana, and so been out on there all these crazy
Geez, you've
jobs.
done-
Yes.
This
But
is
yeah,
the
I
most
took
humbling
all
show
those
we've ever
pictures
done,
of the
Andrew.
guys that ended up.
All these
on
people
the
are
other.
like super overachievers around here, except you and me.
We just can't decide what we're supposed to do with our lives.
Is that what it
Right,
is?
yeah.
That's what my mom would tell
So,
you.
So, if you want to break down, according to Business Insider from 2013,
Get out. I'm gonna
Republicans
stats.
are dog people and Democrats prefer cats.
Really?
That's the.
When's this from?
Is that-
2013?
Wow.
This is from
Democrats.
2013.
Okay,
It is
we
Yeah,
didn't
a lot
update
has
it.
changed since 2013
Yes.
in the United States of America,
Yeah.
and that's
It's-
another one.
based off the U.S. Pet Ownership and Demographics Source Book. So
Sounds
Good
official.
job.
Well-
I
Yeah.
can't believe that C-Rock didn't find that for us. Good job, Brian.
You did find both
Health
singles.
Junior.
yes,
So last year, for the
Professional
first time,
There you go.
millennials
What?
beat baby boomers in terms of pet ownership. And
Really?
the younger group is going for dogs. So it's an interesting big wave. It's a $70 billion industry now, is the pet world, and
Wow.
growing every year. So it's a wild world out there.
So, are you looking to make a fortune out of this? Could you get wealthy out of being an inventor of Dig?
Yeah.
The dog people's dating app.
Yeah, you could.
You could.
you
Are you
could.
single?
I am not single.
Who are you dating?
I'm dating Adam.
Adam. And what's the story with his dog?
We got Penny together.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting a dog with somebody like a boyfriend? Because you're not married or anything. How long have you been dating?
We've been dating about 3 years.
3 years. And so after 3 years, you got a dog together.
Close
That
to
is pretty damn
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty serious. Yeah.
I mean, that's like getting engaged or something.
Yeah, it's pretty
Or
close.
buying a house together.
Well, I bought my house, and I bought it across the street from a dog park because she is that crazy. So, yeah,
Which-
it's all
which
a
dog
part
park
of it.
are you living across the
I
street?
actually live in Gretna. And so there's a brand new dog park right at the levee in McDonoughville, which
Okay.
is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys living together, you and Adam?
We are.
Okay, so it's you, Adam, and Penny.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What next?
Another dog? I
Another
don't know.
dog. Another dog before wedding
I
bells are
don't
in the
know.
air.
I have no idea.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Thomas.
I did some interviewing in journalism myself once.
Nice.
And I met a bunch of entrepreneurs who were starting up an app called Popular.
Yes, I've heard it many
What
times.
happened to Popular?
Are they your competitors, or are you them?
No, it's a
or-
different thing.
So everyone's told me to meet Harry from Popular, and I still haven't. So I'd
But
love to meet
Popular-
you, Harry, if you're listening.
But Popular is not a dating app.
Right.
Popular is
So
a dog.
I thought it
Popular,
was.
as I
No,
understand
it's
it,
the
is an app
dog
to
thing.
find
Yeah.
someone to go on a dog walk with, meet
Right.
up at the dog park at the same time, and that's actually
Well,
really.
what's the subtext there? I mean, come on,
I
right?
see.
So
No, you can be married and
well,
on
that's
Popular.
actually
Yeah.
the problem,
We can be
is that if
married
you're
on-
not very straightforward about it being a dating app, like our name says Dig, the dog person's dating app, for that reason. Other apps have fallen apart because people get on there and they're confused about why other
Right.
people are there. Or they try to go national too quickly and there's not enough people to match with. And so we're really trying to go region by region and make sure there's enough people in each place and that people know we're there for dating for that reason, is that there's no confusion.
Touche.
Touches.
That's
Touches.
Okay, very good.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
It's good.
Now, have we swung back around to the Andrew Duhon new song of the day?
Sure.
Okay. What do you? What's it about? What's it
Is it
about?
about dogs
Please?
or dating?
It's about dating.
Can be stretched.
It is about
It
dating.
is about
cool.
dating. Okay.
and what about despair?
It's okay. We've had enough to spare.
It's-
It's all good.
It's about the schoolyard element of the male psyche in relationships that is actually, in my mind, kind of sweet. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that because that word comes in. It's called I'm Trying to Get to You, I think.
All right.
What was that? I know sometimes I ain't that sweet. I know sometimes I get to you. I know sometimes I get to you. I'm just trying to get to you. I'm just trying to get to you. Sometimes I can be downright mean. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to you. What a childish thing to do. Through the rain, through the snow, through the sleet.
I'm just trying to get to you. I'm just trying to get to you. I know I grind your gears and rattle your bones. Sometimes you just wish that I'd leave you alone, but I ain't never gonna leave you, darling. Never feel as close to you as I wanna be. I'm just trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to you. Where you at, baby? Where you at? Look around, tell me what you see. I'm just trying to get to you. I'm just trying to get to you. Don't rattle your bones, grind your gears, baby. Grind your gears and rattle your bones. Sometimes you wish I'd just leave you alone. I know, but I ain't never gonna leave you, dog. Sometimes I ain't all that sweet. I'm just trying to get to you. What a childish thing to do. I know what you want to hear, but I'll go and say the opposite thing. I'm just trying to get to you. I'm just trying to get to you. Thanks, y'all.
Very nice. Andrew, brand new. For
Brand
the first
new.
time you ever played that anywhere.
That's right.
Andrew Duhon.
Nice.
Thanks.
What did you think?
I loved that.
No, good.
Isn't
Thanks.
it, right? It's enchanting looking at Andrew play, isn't it? It's
got-
sort of mesmerizing.
I got some ideas already, but that's the nature of when you play it for the first time. But
Yeah.
you know, that's why I like coming on this show and just like trying to
Trying
draft
it
or
out.
something.
I
Yeah.
know. So when you were playing that, did you hear some stuff that you thought, I have to do this and do
Oh
that?
yeah. I
What do you-
skipped a complete.
Constantly, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It's never finished, right?
Do you think that, Alison, when you play as well, you hear stuff when you're playing it?
It's hard not to have the editor running at all times.
Right.
That's something I have to work very hard to turn off when I play, because I just say the song is wherever it is that at that moment at that time, and that's good
Right.
enough. That's what I
See,
have
both
to
of you
tell
seem
myself.
to be part of like a new kind of a breed of musicians that are highly intelligent and could do something else.
I mean,
And with-
Are
and
you
artistic.
don't know me that well.
Yeah,
Geniuses
this
who were in
isn't-
Motley Crue?
This isn't like the old rock and roll Motley Crue, exactly. This looks sort of a new kind of. There used to be like a sort of a small segment of people who
Well-
were like folk musicians who were sort of thinkers and poets.
Yeah.
But you guys are sort of like it's a new kind of a genre. in a way.
There's the cerebral, over-edited singer-songwriter these
R-
days, and
right.
that's probably our ilk. And then, but maybe what's being lost is the like reactionary, non-edited, regurgitative art that was made by, name of, old rock and roll band that just felt like it was about the performance piece or something.
But if you go
know?
into Alison's stuff, you listen to Alison's 2 records that she has out,
Mm-hmm.
or you go hear her live, it's rock and roll. Man, that is really kick-ass rock. That's what I'm saying. It's not singer-songwriter.
that's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
But you're still super smart.
Again, I don't know. You give me a lot of credit.
Well, I would say, wouldn't you say, Lee, as an educator, as a professor?
I'm just blown away by both of you right now. Yes, absolutely.
That's
You have
what's
to be
awesome.
smart to
Thanks.
put these things together.
That's what's crazy about the shows. You can sit here and talk to people, and they, have a real conversation and find out that people are ordinary people like you, and then they pick up a guitar and play
Well,
it.
that's what I
You're
would
like,
hope.
Holy
If I
shit.
ever see you again, I hope you just like have your guitar with you, and you're like, I can
Well,
do
you
this
certainly
now.
can. We play Friday at
Oh,
RF's
cool.
from 3 to 6 and at DMAX at 9 o'clock on Friday night. And
And
we're
what's the
actually
name?
there at DMAX again for the 4th of July. So
All
come out
right.
and see us. If you're looking for something to do on the 4th,
Cool.
we'll be playing
What
at
time?
DMAX that night on Jeff Davis at Tulane. Play around 8 o'clock, I think, 4th of July.
And your name is
9
Alison
o'clock this Friday,
McConnell, but the
8
name
next
of the
week.
band is what?
Is Rebel Roadside.
Rebel
And if you look
Roadside.
up rebelroadside.com or on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, you can find any dates that we've got going, some clips, some video, all the links to the records, that kind of thing.
All
Check
right.
it out.
Very good.
Just real quick to
Yes.
kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier about how to be successful, how to make money.
Oh,
Is
yes, I'm gonna write that down.
young musicians who are smart have to have multiple streams of revenue in order to succeed. So they have to work as hard as possible to do everything they can to get every red cent out of their fan base, and not just touring and not just albums, but other things as well. Because that's the way to succeed, multiple streams of revenue.
Right, including door furniture.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
one stream of revenue as far as we're concerned.
Absolutely.
Let me just tell you about that before we get out of here.
I'd
For
love
the
to
last
hear it.
80 years, Door Furniture has been serving retail customers throughout Greater New Orleans. From its home base on Elysian Fields in the Marigny, as well as finest quality furniture from brands like Stickley, Century, and Flex Steel, Doors designers can customize pieces for your home. They can come to your house and tell you what to do, from slipcover sofas to dining room tables if you're on the North Shore as well. Door recently opened a second location in Covington. Door Furniture is as New Orleans as it gets. And thank you to Strategic Resumes. If you want to sharpen up your resume, your LinkedIn profile, or your other job search skills, get in touch with Grant Cooper at Strategic Resumes. And if you want to get away, like Lee is doing, start your travel search at Travel Central in Metairie. And that's basically our show for today. Mm-hmm. How you like that? Brian Hell Jr. has been here. The only Brian Hell Jr. on all of Facebook. You can find him there.
Check me out, the Week in Geek radio show, News Talk 99.5 WRNO, every Sunday at 7, Facebook.com/The Week in Geek, at Twig Radio on Twitter, and we're streaming, podcasting all over the place.
That guy's done that before, for sure.
Yes,
very
absolutely.
good. Very nice, very good. And Lee Isaacson from Dig, the Dog People's Dating app, has been here as well. You can find you on...
Well, you can download Dig on the App Store, search Dig, Dog Person's Dating app. You do have to write the whole thing. There are a lot of gold digger games out there, so if you just put Dig, a lot of other things pop up. I suggest Dig, the Dog Person's Dating app. Search for us at Dig Dates on Instagram. Every dog you see on Instagram is available for adoption from Jefferson Parish SPCA.
Yay.
So
Nice.
make sure you check that out too.
Hi, very good. And Alice McConnell, thank you so much for being here
Thanks
as well.
for having me.
All right,
Appreciate
you all. That's it. Andrew, thanks for coming back.
Dude, good to see you.
We'll catch you soon, hopefully, on the North American swing.
That's right.
Back through New Orleans. That's Andrew Duhon. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte. Our associate producer is Alison Moon. Christian Owner is our music director, and Monique Pyle is our associate music director. Thomas Walsh is our technical director, and our Facebook Live feed director who put this whole thing on Facebook Live is Asher Griffith. Andrew Siroc is our fact-checker and social media connector. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can drink alcohol and sit upright for about 60 minutes, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can also check out many other hours of Happy Hour we made previously, along with some other shows we make here as well. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death called Death the Podcast. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at Acadiana.com and it's BatonRouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans, and you can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. It's called It's New Orleans, our Facebook page. The photos are taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more photos and info about Jill at lafleurphoto.com. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. That's very kind of you. Take a moment, if you've got one, to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting. For itsneworleans.com, for Andrew Duhon, who's back in town for a moment, and everyone else around the table here at Wayfair and back at our office at INO Broadcasting. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been Happy Hour for another week. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week. No, I won't. Next week is the 4th of July. We're taking a week off. Can you believe it? Wow. We'll be back here the week after that for more Happy Hour. See you then.
Get to Old Navy this Saturday for National Rockstar Day and get our legendary Rockstar jeans for the lowest prices of the year. Just $15 for women, $10 for girls. This Saturday only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 9/21, select styles only.